Other people that match the terror watch list that were apprehended by CBP that the FBI and other agencies are searching for in the United States?
There are certainly individuals who are the subject of terrorism investigations that we are searching for.
Are there people that you don't? Are there people you don't know where they are that the FBI is searching for today?
Yes.
Yes or no? Yes.
Here we go, Maria.
That was FBI Director Christopher Wray confirming to Texas Congressman August Pfluger during a House Homeland Security Committee hearing that there are known and suspected terrorists in the United States right now. They crossed the border illegally, and now the agency has no idea where they are. There were 13 illegal migrants on the terrorist watch list encountered at the southern border just last month. That is more than the total encountered from 2018 to 2020, meaning during Trump's entire term. Joining me right now is Texas Congressman and House Homeland Security Committee member August Pfluger. Congressman, thanks very much for your leadership on this issue and for your questions yesterday. How would you assess that hearing from your standpoint?
Well, it started out exactly like you would predict. Secretary Mayorkas talking about climate change as the main driver of threats to this country. You know, when I got to Director Wray, I had to pin him down on that question. And it's not surprising to the American public that they are looking for people. 282 people have crossed into this country and matched the terror watch list that we know about. That does not include the gotaways. And furthermore, after Director Wray answered that question, which should alarm every American, especially after what happened in Israel with the horrific attacks by Hamas, that can happen here. And when questioned, Secretary Mayorkas told the American people that they really don't have a policy. DHS does not have a policy to detain people who do match the terror watch list. So it's very alarming. The fact that we don't know about these known gotaways, who they are, what their affiliations are, and what their intent is. I think we all know that there are many people who've crossed into this country who have malign intent to undermine our national security and hurt Americans. That's what Director Wray said in his testimony, that after the attacks in Israel, that the threat in the United States against Americans is at a whole other level.
I don't understand this, Congressman. I don't understand why they continue to protect this position that the border is open and they claim that it's closed. Why are they continuing this, knowing the national security threats that exist?
Well, even Democrats can't understand that position. It's not defendable. It actually is really weakening our homeland security, our approach to securing American cities, to protecting against another 9/11 attack. I mean, when you look at the 9/11 Commission, they said the system was blinking red. It's blinking red, Maria. It's blinking red right here in the United States. Yeah. It should have been a wake-up call in Israel, and unfortunately it's not.
Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene called on the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas to step down yesterday. Watch this.
But I want you to know, you have a short time coming. You can honorably resign, or we are going to impeach you. And it's happening very, very soon.
And yet, House lawmakers rejected an effort to force a vote on impeaching Mayorkas earlier this week. 8 Republicans joined all the Democrats to reject the resolution, Congressman. How come?
Well, I can't speak for their individual votes. Maybe it was process related, but I do agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on this, that he does need to resign. I've told him that multiple times. I told him he was derelict in his duty yesterday, and the Homeland Security Committee needs to proceed forward with impeachment. He has failed the American public. He's failed to keep us safe, and it's time that he goes. But unfortunately, even a new secretary won't change this, because this is coming right from the top, from President Biden's weakness and from his appeasement strategy that's weakened our own homeland security.
I know that you referred to the Chinese nationals coming through the border. Did you get any information on that, Congressman? Because we've got new numbers this morning, and apparently it's actually 7,000 people from China, 7,000 largely military-aged men that have come into America and either been apprehended or led into the country in October alone. That is an enormous number, 7,000. And you've got 4,261 of them just at the border, encountered at the border. So what are your thoughts on what's going on here?
Well, you know, as you and I have talked about many times, I was one of the first people to actually raise this issue 2 years ago when in my district, in a very rural part, one of the sheriff's departments in Kimball County Junction, Texas, stopped on a routine traffic stop a special interest, high value Chinese national. And, you know, the fact is, Director Wray answered the question and said he is worried about it. He is worried about the CCP undermining us. And this comes on the heels of President Biden inviting and basically begging Xi Jinping to come to the United States, to come to San Francisco. Look, I mean, how can we look ourselves in the eyes with an open border, especially military-age males, the numbers that you're showing us that are coming across the southern border, knowing that the entire Chinese Communist Party wants to undermine everything that we're doing? I mean, this is obviously a threat, and it speaks to the larger open border policies that Biden has.
Kayleigh. Lee Carter, go ahead. Sorry, but my apologies.
We know that the economy is the number one concern to Americans, but that's actually decreasing, and what is increasing is concern about immigration. 15% of Americans saying that's their number one concern, while 19% say the economy. So I think as people are looking forward to 2024, they're saying this issue must be addressed. We know about the border wall. We know about things that would be different, but what do you say the Republicans need to do today to make sure that everyone knows what will be different about immigration should Republicans win in 24?
Well, I'm very hopeful Speaker Johnson has made a pledge, a commitment to all of us that border security will happen. You know, he's just on the job 3 weeks, and so he needed a little bit of a runway. We've passed a stopgap spending measure. He knows that the economy is important. We have good policy on that, and they go hand in hand. When you have a good, secure border policy, your economic policy will be good. But we will make sure that we give the Speaker the right resources, the right policy to hold the White House accountable. Obviously, we passed H.R. 2 earlier this year, the most comprehensive border security bill in decades, and we need the Speaker to go to the White House and negotiate that and get that across the finish line.
It just seems like there's a fire to be put out everywhere you look. Now, Iranian-backed forces attacking U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria at least 57 times just since October 17th. We're getting our butts kicked by all of the above. The Biden administration is being slammed for extending a sanctions waiver that gives Iran access to about $10 billion from Iraq in exchange for electricity purposes and purchases. The money is being held in escrow in Iraq. The White House says it can only be used for humanitarian aid. Nobody believes it's going to be used for humanitarian aid. Let's be clear.
No, they don't. $6 billion that they won't shut down the waiver for. I mean, this is just another indication of the appeasement. The $10 billion, you know, first off, as Iraq, don't rely on your enemy for your own energy needs. We know that being energy dominant and independent is so important, but the White House needs to clearly state that there will be no money that can go to Iran. Even if they say it's for humanitarian reasons, we know that that is fungible, that that's not the end of the story. They will use it to fund terrorism. The White House, again, appeasing Iran, not shutting it down and not taking a hard line. That's why they need a reversal on the Iran policy writ large.
All right. I want to get your take on this later, Kayleigh. We'll come back to that. Congressman, thanks for your leadership on this. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you, Maria.
August Pfluger joining us.